I did not live with my parents because I needed them. I lived with them because the house needed me. My name is Brianna Ortiz. I was 25 years old, and every month my name kept the lights on in a 2-story duplex in Queens. Gas, electricity, internet, groceries. Not because anyone asked nicely, because if I did not log in and pay, the notices came fast, and the silence after was worse. Right after that truth settled in my chest. I need to say this clearly. The entire content of the video is a fictional work created by the writing team of the Revenge Sins channel, intended to reflect common conflicts in families and society, helping viewers recognize their emotions and choose a more positive way of living. My parents liked to tell people they were getting by. What they meant was that my father, Luis, hadn't held steady work in years. My mother, Marisol, picked up shifts when she felt like it and complained when she did. And every time something shut off or ran low, they turned to me the way people turn to a switch on the wall. "Bree, did you pay the gas?" my mother called from the kitchen one night, not even looking up from her phone. "Yes," I said, "yesterday." She nodded like that was exactly how it should be. "Good, it's freezing." My father sat at the table, tapping ash into an empty mug. "You should set reminders," he said. "Can't risk late fees." I looked at him. "I already do." He shrugged. "Just saying. That was our rhythm. I paid," they advised. Nobody thanked. Nobody asked if I was tired. By winter, the bills stacked up to almost $800 a month. $260 for gas and electricity. $95 for internet. $450 for groceries. I knew the numbers by heart because they lived in my head rent-free, louder than my own plans. My younger sister Camila watched all of this from the hallway. 17, quiet, always pretending to scroll when she was really listening. One night, while I was paying the electric bill on my laptop, my father leaned over my shoulder. "You know," he said, "this is still my house." I didn't look up. "I know. You act like paying bills gives you a say." My fingers paused on the keyboard. "I don't act like anything. I just pay them." My mother laughed, sharp and quick. "Don't start. She's sensitive." Sensitive. That was the word they used when I stopped absorbing everything quietly. I closed the laptop and stood. "I'm going to bed." Camilla followed me halfway up the stairs. "You okay?" "I'm fine," I said, because that answer kept things calm. She hesitated. "You do a lot." I met her eyes. "I know. If this feels familiar, if you've ever been the one holding everything together while being told it wasn't yours, stay with me. Not because this is about blame, because sometimes recognizing the pattern is the first step out of it." That night, I lay awake listening to the heat kick on and off, thinking about how strange it was to be both essential and disposable in the same breath. I didn't know yet that they were already planning how to replace me, but I could feel it coming, the way you feel a shift in the air before the temperature drops. I realized something was wrong before anyone said my name. It was a Sunday night, the kind that usually passed with half-heated leftovers and my parents arguing softly about nothing that ever changed. I was pouring myself a glass of water when I heard my father's voice lower, careful in a way it never was when I was in the room. "If the room's clear by next month," he said, "we can make it work." My mother hummed in agreement. "She won't fight it. She's too comfortable." I stopped moving. The cousin asked again. My father continued. "Says he can pay real rent." My mother sighed. "That would help." "We're drowning." I stood there, cup still in my hand, the word "she" sitting heavy in my chest. When I walked back into the dining area, the conversation died instantly. "Everything okay?" I asked. My father looked up at me, eyes already guarded. "We need to talk." Camilla stiffened beside me. My mother folded her napkin too carefully. That's when I knew this wasn't a bad mood or a passing argument. This was prepared. "You've been here long enough," my father said. "You're too comfortable." I laughed once, surprised by the sound. I pay most of the bills. That doesn't mean you run the house. He snapped. This is still my home. My mother finally spoke, her voice thin. We think it's time you move out. Brianna, Camilla whispered. What? My father ignored her. You're old enough. You have a job. You'll be fine. I stared at him. You want me gone, after everything I cover. He leaned back in his chair. Don't be dramatic. We're not throwing you out, my mother added quickly. We just need the space. For who I asked. They exchanged a glance they thought I wouldn't catch. A cousin. My father said. He can pay rent, and you still expect me to help. I said. My mother frowned. You're our daughter. You should want to. There it was. Not a request. An assumption. So let me get this straight. I said slowly. You want me out, but you still want my money. My father's jaw tightened. You're twisting this. No, I said. I'm finally hearing it clearly. Camilla stood up. You can't do this. My father turned on her. Stay out of it. I looked at my sister, then back at them. The power in the room had shifted, and they didn't even realize it yet. Okay, I said. The word landed heavier than any argument. I'll be gone by the end of the week. My mother's mouth opened. My father straightened. Like he'd won something. I turned away before they could say anything else. Upstairs. I closed my door and sat on the bed, heart steady in a way that surprised me. They thought this conversation ended with my agreement. They had no idea it was the moment I stopped holding the house together. I packed the way you do when you already know nothing you say will change the outcome. I folded clothes. I unplugged my charger. I lined my shoes against the wall and decided which pairs were worth carrying and which ones could stay behind without me missing them. Downstairs. I could hear my parents' voices, low and calm, like they had just crossed something off a list. Camilla hovered in my doorway for a long time before she spoke. They're serious, she said. I know. She stepped inside, shutting the door behind her. They think you'll cool off. I didn't look up. I'm not angry. That seemed to confuse her more than if I'd yelled. You pay for everything, she said. They can't afford this place without you. I zipped my duffel bag and finally met her eyes. That's not my problem anymore. Her face crumpled. They didn't mean it like this. They meant it exactly like this. She sat on the edge of my bed. Where are you going to go? I'll figure it out. That's it, she said. You're just leaving. Yes. She swallowed hard. They're going to say you abandoned us. I shrugged. They already decided who I was. She was quiet for a moment, then said, You were the only one holding this place together. The words landed heavier than anything my parents had said. I know, I told her. That's why I'm leaving. Downstairs. My father's voice rose slightly. She'll be fine. She always lands on her feet. I carried my bag to the stairs and paused long enough to let that sink in. I had always landed on my feet because I was never allowed to fall. My mother looked up when I reached the living room. You're really doing this? Yes. She crossed her arms. You don't have to make it dramatic. I'm not. My father shook his head. You'll be back. I walked past them without responding. By midnight, I was in the passenger seat of Noah Kaplan's car, my bag at my feet. He didn't ask questions. He never did when something mattered. You hungry? He asked as we pulled away. No. You sure I'm sure? His apartment in Bushwick was small and loud and smelled like takeout and detergent. The couch sagged in the middle, but it didn't judge me. Stay as long as you need, Noah said, tossing me a blanket. Thank you. He hesitated. You okay? I will be. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, listening to sounds that weren't angry or entitled or waiting for something from me. My phone buzzed once. A text from my mother. We can talk about this tomorrow. I turned the screen face down. In the morning, I logged into the internet account tied to my parents' address and removed my name. I didn't rush. I didn't hesitate. It was the first thing I turned off. And it wasn't a punishment. It was a boundary. The internet shut off 3 days later. I knew the timing because my mother called at exactly 7 in the morning, her voice already pitched high. "Brianna, something's wrong. The Wi-Fi isn't working." I sat on the edge of Noah's couch, phone in one hand, coffee in the other. "Okay." "That's it," she snapped. "Your father can't check his email. The television won't load anything." I removed my name from the account. There was a pause. The kind that happens when someone hears a sentence but hasn't accepted it yet. "Why would you do that?" "Because I don't live there anymore." "You didn't say you were going to cut things off," she said. "I didn't cut anything off. I stopped paying for it." She scoffed. "You know we can't afford it right now." I said nothing. My father grabbed the phone. "This is petty." "No," I said. "This is accurate. You're punishing us." He said, "I'm not buffering you anymore." Silence again. Then my mother's voice came back, softer now. "We raised you, and I paid the bills," I said. She inhaled sharply. "You're being cruel." "No," I said. "I'm being done." I hung up before the conversation could circle back into guilt. That afternoon, Camilla texted me from school. "They're freaking out." I didn't reply. An hour later, another message. "Dad says you'll turn the gas back on." I typed, then erased, then typed again. I didn't turn anything off. That night, Noah watched me close my laptop and lean back. "They calling you nonstop." "Yes." "You feel bad?" I thought about it. "I feel clear." He nodded. "That's different." The next morning, a notice appeared in my email inbox. "Past due. Final reminder." Not from the internet company, from the gas provider. I didn't forward it. I didn't warn anyone. When my mother called again, she was crying. "We don't know what's happening. The bills are stacking up." I kept my voice even. "They were always stacking up. You just didn't see them. You're doing this on purpose," she said. "I'm not doing anything." I replied, "I stopped doing everything." She whispered my name like it was a plea. I ended the call. If they wanted me gone, this was what that looked like. Not revenge, just math. The notices came before the apologies. I woke up to 3 emails flagged urgent. Password reset attempts. Failed login alerts. A notification from my bank asking me to confirm suspicious activity. All of it traced back to Queens. I stared at the screen until Noah leaned over my shoulder. "That doesn't look normal." "It isn't," I said. "They're trying to get into my accounts." My phone rang before I could say anything else. Camilla's name lit up. "I was just about to call you," she whispered. "Dad's been on the computer all morning." "Doing what?" She hesitated. "Trying passwords. Mom's old notebook, the one she keeps in the drawer." The room went quiet around me. "Did he get in?" "No," she said quickly. "He keeps swearing at the screen, saying the bank's broken." I closed my eyes. "He tried to call them, didn't he?" "Yes," she admitted. "He told them he was you. They asked for security questions." He hung up. Noah exhaled slowly. "That's bad. It's worse." I said, "That's not panic. That's entitlement." Camilla's voice shook. "Mom keeps saying it's not stealing if it's family." "That's not true," I said. "And you know it." "I know," she said. "I just didn't know they'd go this far." I opened my laptop and logged into everything I had. Email, bank, work accounts. Streaming services I forgot were still linked to my name. I changed every password, enabled 2-step verification, called the bank and asked them to flag my profile. The woman on the phone was calm. "We're locking it down. You did the right thing." "I know," I said. When I hung up, Noah handed me a glass of water. "You want to call the police?" "Not yet. You sure?" "Yes." That night, my father texted me for the first time since I left. "You think you're smarter than us." I didn't respond. Another message came in minutes later. You can't just walk away and leave us like this. I typed back one sentence. I didn't leave you. I stopped funding you. His reply came fast. You owe us. I showed Noah the screen. He shook his head. They don't hear themselves. They hear themselves perfectly. I said, they just don't hear me. The next morning, the gas company sent a final warning. Disconnection scheduled within 5 business days. My mother called as soon as the email hit her inbox. Brianna, please, she said. This is serious. It always was. We're desperate, she said. That doesn't make it mine. She started to cry, loud this time. Your father's pacing. He says you did this on purpose. I didn't do anything. I said. I stopped. He keeps saying you ruined everything. I didn't ruin anything. I replied. I removed myself from it. The line went quiet. Then she said, almost accusing, you sound calm. I am. After I hung up, I sat very still. My hands weren't shaking. My voice hadn't cracked. That scared me more than the threats. Because somewhere between the first bill I ever paid and the last password I changed, they stopped seeing me as their daughter, and I finally stopped pretending they would. The first time my father showed up, I almost convinced myself it didn't matter. Noah texted me while I was still at work. Your dad's outside. I called him immediately. What do you mean, outside? He's on the sidewalk, Noah said. Yelling your name like the block belongs to him. I left early and walked toward the apartment with my keys tight in my hand. Luis was pacing near the curb, phone pressed to his ear, jaw clenched. When he saw me, he hung up and pointed. You think you can disappear? He said. I didn't disappear. I replied, I moved. You're embarrassing us. He said, people are watching. You should go home. He stepped closer. Turn the gas back on. No. His eyes narrowed. You don't get to decide that. I already did. For a second. I thought he might touch me. Then he scoffed and backed away. This isn't over. He left, tires screeching, like that noise could fix anything. Noah locked the door behind us. Next time, we call someone. There won't be a next time, I said. There was. 3 nights later, just after midnight, a heavy thud hit the door. Then another. Noah froze mid-step. That's him, I said. Luis's voice cut through the hallway. Open the door, Noah whispered. I'm calling it in. I shook my head and picked up my phone myself. The third kick rattled the frame. You think hiding makes you powerful, my father shouted. You owe us. I gave the dispatcher my address, my voice steady. My father is trying to force his way into my apartment. We're sending officers, she said. Do not open the door. Luis slammed his fist again. I raised you. And you're not coming in, I said, loud enough for him to hear. Behind me, Noah stood rigid, hands clenched. You good? I am now. The banging stopped just as sirens echoed down the street. 2 officers arrived and spoke to Luis in the hallway. I watched through the peephole as his posture changed from aggressive to indignant. She's my daughter, he said. She's doing this to punish us. One of the officers glanced at me. Ma'am, do you want to file a report? I shook my head. I want him gone. They warned him and escorted him out. He looked back once, eyes burning. This isn't finished, he said. The door closed. Noah let out a breath. That wasn't nothing. No, I said. That was the line. I sat down on the couch, phone still in my hand, the dispatcher thanking me for staying calm. My heart was racing, but my resolve was intact. The bills had brought him to my door, but the door didn't give him what he wanted, and neither would I. Camilla called just after sunrise. Her voice was thin, stretched tight like it might snap. She sold it. I sat up so fast the room tilted. Sold what? My mom, she said. She took your laptop. She went to the pawn shop last night. I pressed my feet to the floor. When? After you blocked her number, Camilla whispered. She said we needed money. Then she came home with groceries and a new bag. The words landed one by one, each heavier than the last. That laptop held my work files, my credentials, everything tied to the job that paid my rent now. I kept my voice even. Did she say where? On Myrtle, Camilla said. The place near the laundromat. Noah was already awake, watching me from the kitchen doorway. I didn't have to explain. She crossed it, he said. Yes, I replied. She did. We drove back to Queens together. I brought my purchase receipt, the serial number, the email confirmation from work. I didn't rush. I didn't rehearse what I would say. I didn't need to. Marisol opened the door before I knocked, arms folded like she'd been waiting. You can't just show up, she said. I can, I replied. You stole from me. She laughed once, sharp and hollow. You left it here. I left my things. I said. You sold my livelihood. Camilla stood behind her, eyes red. Mom, please. Marisol waved her off. We needed the money. For food, I said. She hesitated, then lifted her chin. For what we needed. I looked at the bag hanging from her shoulder. That wasn't food. Her mouth tightened. Don't judge me. I pulled out my phone. I'm calling this in. Her confidence cracked. You wouldn't. I dialed. I already am. When the officers arrived, Marisol tried to control the room with tears. He abandoned us, she said, pointing at me like I was a stranger. She left all this behind. I spoke calmly. That laptop belongs to me. Here's the receipt. Here's the serial number. My employer requires it. One officer turned to Camilla. Did you see her take it? Camilla swallowed, then nodded. Yes. Marisol spun on her. After everything I've done for you. Camilla didn't look away. You sold her work. The officers stepped aside with Marisol. Their voices were low but firm. When they returned, one of them said, Ma'am, you're being cited for theft. Further charges are pending. Marisol stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. You did this. I met her gaze. You did. They took her outside to finish the report. Camilla sat on the stairs, hands shaking. I'm sorry, she said. This isn't your fault. I told her. You told the truth. Outside, my mother cried loudly, the same way she always had when things didn't go her way. I didn't follow. I didn't explain. I didn't soften it. Noah stood beside me. You okay? Yes, I said. The house felt different without her voice filling it. Quieter, exposed. When I walked out with the officer's card in my pocket and my sister's hand in mine, I knew something irreversible had happened. Not because she was charged, because I had stopped protecting her from consequences. And she knew it. I was loading the last box into my car when his truck pulled in. Luis didn't park. He stopped halfway across the driveway, blocking me in, engine still running. He got out slowly, like this moment had been rehearsed in his head. So this is how you do it, he said. You call the police on your own mother. She sold my work. I replied, you know that. He laughed, sharp and bitter. You always did think you were better than us. I closed the trunk. I don't think that. I know where the lines are. You ruined this family, he said, stepping closer. You turned Camilla against us. I held my ground. I didn't turn her against anyone. She saw it. He pointed toward the house. We gave you everything. You gave me a roof. I said. I paid to keep it standing. His face darkened. You don't get to talk to me like that. I do now. He took another step, close enough that I could smell the stale anger on his breath. You think the law protects you. It does, I said. When you follow it, his hands curled into fists. For a moment, the air felt brittle, like one wrong word would shatter it. You think you're done, he said. You think you can walk away clean. I opened the driver's door. I'm not walking away clean. I'm walking away clear. He reached out and grabbed the edge of the door. You owe us. I met his eyes and didn't look away. You don't get access to me anymore. He froze, not because he agreed, because he understood. If you come near me again, I continued, my voice steady, I will file for a restraining order. If you threaten me, I will press charges. This stops here. His grip loosened. Fear flickered across his face before he masked it with anger. You're nothing without us, he said. I got into the car. Watch me. I started the engine. He stepped back just enough for me to pull out. I didn't rush. I didn't slam the door. I didn't say anything else. In the rearview mirror, he stood in the driveway, arms hanging uselessly at his sides, the house looming behind him like something he could no longer control. Camilla watched from the porch, hugging herself. I lifted a hand, small and steady. She nodded. I drove away without speeding, without music, without looking back again. The boundary had been drawn, and for the first time, it held. A year passed without my name lighting up their screens. I moved into a small apartment in Ridgewood, nothing fancy, clean, quiet. The heat worked, the bills were in my name, and for the first time, they only belonged to me. Camilla called every few days at first, then every week. Her voice changed over time. Less careful, less apologetic. I got the job, she said one afternoon. Coffee shop near campus. I'm proud of you. I told her. I saved my first paycheck. She added, I didn't give it to anyone. Good. I said, keep doing that. She stayed with a friend's family until she graduated. When she told me she'd been accepted to community college, she didn't cry. She sounded steady. I signed the lease today. She said months later, it's tiny. Tiny is perfect. I replied. That night, my phone buzzed with a message request from a number I didn't recognize. Family is family. I stared at it for a moment. Then I locked the screen and set the phone face down. Camila came over that weekend. We cooked grilled cheese, burned one side, laughed about it. She sat cross-legged on the couch, scrolling through pictures of apartments she liked. This place feels safe, she said. It is, I told her. If you're listening to this and any part of it feels familiar, take that seriously. Pay attention to where your energy goes. Notice who benefits from your silence. And if this story helped you name something you've been carrying, stay with us. Share it. Let someone else recognize themselves too. After Camilla fell asleep, my phone buzzed again. Same number. I didn't read it. I blocked it and set the phone back down. Some stories end with apologies. Mine ended with distance. Not because I was bitter, because I was free. And that was enough.